You've got this new communication strategy, or at least new for a Democrat. It's called, I'm pronouncing this correctly, being interesting. And
we are advancing an independent scientific review panel with other states to counter the mis and disinformation coming from the CDC. It's based on facts, based on science, not based on bull and fear.
I want to start today by covering a few clips of Gavin Newsom on Stephen Colbert, and I know, I'm a few days late. Sue me, I still wanted to cover it. So take a moment, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a bunch, gives us a boost in the algorithm, and let's get right to the breakdown.
I run the largest public health system in the United States of America, California. It's the size of 21 state populations combined. We have some of the best and the brightest scientists, researchers, Nobel laureates in our state. And as a consequence, we are advancing an independent scientific review panel with other states to counter the mis and disinformation coming from the CDC. They simply are not trustworthy.
yeah.
Well, putting that out. Public health, not complicated.
What's happening at the NIH and the CDC is heartbreaking to me. My dad was an immunologist who was at NIH under Kennedy.
Yeah.
And I love seeing this, personally, but tell the people why it's important that there are governmental institutions that actually are going to certify and say these are the proper treatments of these drugs. What does that mean in terms of people's insurance?
Well, and we just required that insurers provide insurance and cover the cost of all of these vaccines as well. And so we're not, again,
because normally they would use the CDC
Yeah, they're going to use the CDC guidelines that are automatically default, and as a consequence, if they're not making those recommendations, they're not going to cover the costs.
And that's the big problem here with RFK recklessly pulling these recommendations, trying to justify it with bad science, is there's real world effects, and with healthcare, those effects are lives. But to be all the way clear, this is a feature, not a bug to them. It's not like, oopsies, right? They want vaccines less accessible so they can replace it with their scam medicines and privatizations like ivermectin and get rich in the process while jeopardizing your health. It seems to be the point of all this truly, which isn't shocking considering it's under Donald Trump, but it is sad to see that they would even jeopardize public health, stoop to that low, all in the name of profit. But yeah, guys, there's nothing wrong with capitalism.
We're making sure that our own independent analysis provides a list of recommendations based on facts, based on science, not based on bull and fear.
So, when you say...
This is something blue states are truly going to have to lead the way on for the next 4 years. I mean, red states don't have the financial ability, even if they wanted to, or the competency, let alone the fact they don't actually want to, which is why those like Gavin Newsom, who are willing to create these coalitions of sorts to help provide recommendations for healthcare, access to healthcare from reproductive to mental health, right? While also being a leader in public education as well. These people are needed, despite their shortcomings. These are needed leaders for the moment. And I think Gavin Newsom is meeting that better than probably anyone else in the party at the moment. At the end of the day, if Trump is going to attempt to corrupt things at the federal level, it's the states that have to provide the stopgaps or the guardrails between the American people and that. And we need to do everything we can to ensure a victory in Congress in the midterm to take back the House and provide some much needed oversight that might stop them in their tracks.
You've got this new communication strategy, or at least new for a Democrat. It's called, I'm pronouncing this correctly, being interesting. And when did it occur to you? When did the lightning bulb go on over your head that perhaps you should do something that was kind of funny and makes a point? Where did this strategy come from? Because let's give the people an idea of what it is.
Yeah, what do we got?
Here's an example of you aping someone's style. I'm not going to say who. And it says, wow, what an honor on Mount Rushmore. Thank you. Okay. Wow, an honor. Thank you, Nobel Peace Prize. So
feels good.
It does.
It does. It feels
congratulations.
Good. By the way, thank you for acknowledging. Yes,
well,
congratulations.
you got to. You earned that. You earned that. Sure.
Yeah, no, and that. Well, look.
Yeah.
the strategy is inspiration, desperation, right? The two driving forces of life. And everything we were doing to try to break through wasn't working anymore.
Right, and this works well because MAGA instinctually has to be enraged at anything the left does, which also highlights how they just have this literal cognitive dissonance with Trump, where no matter what he does at this point, they'll accept it, shown case in point, because if anybody else does it, they do not like that behavior and call it out. And it also just further highlights the absurdity, where for Trump, the media has carried a lot of weight for him, especially with the way the right controls narratives in this country, where his behavior largely gets normalized. What would be like career ending for anyone else is just swept under the rug for him, to where we don't care to the same degree anymore, even those who still think it's disgusting behavior. Just seeing someone else act that way, talk that way, whatever, in the way Trump does, puts another layer of a spotlight on truly how insane he and his followers for supporting him are. And the cherry on top is that none of MAGA seems to be smart enough to understand that he's doing a bit, like he's making fun of them. They all seem to think he's literally trying to like copy Trump's style for popularity. It's hilarious.